Lord Zenos. It's Lord Zenos. Damn, even Lord Zenos has shown up. The world is turning upside down. Who was able to bring forth Lord Zenos? The crowd broke out into a frenzy at the sight of the distinguished man. Lord Zenos was no ordinary man. He was the viceroy, the influential figure who held control over the entire military and government of Southern Province. He was an official of the first rank and a true authority figure. A single action of his could shake up Millsburg in its entirety. Sir Leinonen and General Lionheart were mere shadows compared to him. Why is Lord Zenos here? Did Tyler invite him? It's over. It's all over. There's no one to save us now. He's the most powerful official in all of Southern Province. Who else can compare to him? The Harmons were shaken, their faces filled with fear and despair. Given their status, it was evident that they weren't the ones to invite the viceroy. So there was only one possibility: he was on Tyler's side. At that moment, not only were the Harmons shaken, but Tyler was also surprised and puzzled. He wasn't exactly acquainted with the viceroy. It's him. When Dustin saw him arrive, he finally revealed a flicker of emotion. It wasn't the person's title that stirred him, but it was because he recognized him. It was none other than Ruby's father, George Zenos. When he first met him at the hospital a few days ago, he wasn't aware of his identity. He didn't expect him to be the viceroy who controlled the entire Southern Province. "Oh, Lord Zenos, what brings you here?" After a momentary daze, Roger approached and greeted him with a smile. Lord Zenos was, after all, his direct superior. "Roger, I heard you were planning to drive away my men. Is that true?" George asked nonchalantly. "It's a misunderstanding. It's all just a misunderstanding." Roger smiled apologetically. "I would welcome them with open arms. I would never dare to drive them away." "Is that so?" George surveyed his surroundings. "Then why have you brought so many of your men here?" Roger froze, unsure of how to respond. He couldn't possibly admit that he was helping the Grants tyrannize the Harmons, could he? Tyler intervened. "Lord Zenos, what brings you to this place?" "What? Do I need to report my movements to you?" George countered. Tyler lowered his head slightly. "Not at all. I'm just curious, that's all. I heard Mr. Hector is celebrating his birthday today. I'm here to wish him a happy birthday." George's voice was loud and clear. "Wish him a happy birthday?" All eyes turned to Hector at George's words. The Harmons were acquainted with Lord Zenos. Trent's voice began to quiver as he asked, "Hector, did you really invite Lord Zenos?" "Aye." Hector found himself at a loss for words. If he had indeed invited Lord Zenos, he wouldn't have feared the Grants. However, Lord Zenos seemed unmistakably on their side from his statement. Hector couldn't figure out who could possibly have the influence to bring forth Lord Zenos' presence. "Roger, you must be here to send your wishes too, I reckon?" George suddenly asked. "Huh?" Roger was momentarily stunned before nodding. "Yes, that's right, I'm here to send my wishes." He wouldn't dare continue acting rashly with Lord Zenos backing the Harmons. He could only use the pretext to act as if nothing had happened. "How about you?" George turned his attention to Tyler, his tone slightly imposing. "I'm here to send my wishes and pick up my bride," Tyler answered bluntly. "Pick up your bride? Who is she?" Tyler answered, "Mr. Hector's daughter and I have long been engaged. Today is the day of our marriage according to the marriage contract." "Oh, is that so?" George glanced at Hector. Hector spoke truthfully, they were indeed engaged in the past. But there were some problems recently that warranted further discussion regarding the engagement. Problems should be solved round the table. "Why be so hostile?" George expressed his dissatisfaction. "I'm open to discussion, but the Harmons are not respecting me," Tyler responded. "Marriage should be based on mutual consent. It's criminal behavior for you to force my hand in marriage by publicly deploying your army," Natasha suddenly cried out. "She's right," George agreed. "A marriage should be between two willing parties. If one party is unwilling, you shouldn't force it." Tyler frowned slightly at his words. It appeared as if George was adamant about standing with the Harmons. "Lord Zenos, what did the Harmons promise you?" I'm willing to pay tenfold, Tyler unexpectedly said to George. How dare you? George's expression darkened, and he bellowed, Tyler Grant. Is this how you see the Viceroy? A corrupt official? No, no. Not at all. Tyler misspoke. Please forgive him. Roger attempted to defuse the situation immediately. You are too young to know how the world works and are too impulsive and aggressive. Take your men with you, and get out of here. George bellowed. He had thought of saving Tyler the embarrassment but didn't expect him to not know his place. Tyler, let it go. We can talk about matters at a later time. Roger gave Tyler a meaningful look. Both of them were nothing in front of the Viceroy. Tyler might be talented with a bright future ahead, but he wasn't strong enough to challenge George at this time. Tyler narrowed his eyes. Lord Zenos, are you really going to support the Harmons? That's right. I'm definitely supporting them. If anyone has a problem with it, feel free to talk to me. George's tone was domineering. The Harmons were ecstatic upon hearing his declaration, while Tyler's expression turned unusually resentful. He couldn't understand the reason George would publicly challenge the Grants in favor of the Harmons. Even though he was upset, he could only give in for now. George was a first-ranked official and controlled the army. Tyler couldn't afford to offend him. However, he was confident he would overshadow George in under 5 years. Lord Zenos, since you have a higher rank, I'll concede for now. However, the world is a small place, and things don't always go as you want. We'll meet again. With a scoff, Tyler strutted out of the place with his entourage. He promised there would come a day when he would crush George beneath his feet. Lord Zenos, the younger generation can be impulsive at times. I hope you won't take it to heart. I shall take my leave as well. With a nod of acknowledgement, Roger followed Tyler out the door. He had to admit they hit a brick wall today. Lord Zenos is amazing. He was able to drive Tyler away with just a few words. Of course, he's the Viceroy entrusted with a region. It's not merely an empty title. I envy the Harmons. They actually have Lord Zenos backing them. The discussion among the guests grew increasingly heated with Tyler's departure. Nobody expected a mere birthday celebration to bring forth that many influential figures. The contest between the two families was akin to an epic clash. Lord Zenos, Sir Paul, Sir Moran, thank you for your help. We will forever be grateful. Hector walked up to them and shook their hands. Without their appearance, disaster would have befallen the Harmons. George smiled. You're welcome, Mr. Harmon. The main reason I came was to return a favor. As he spoke, he stole a glance at Dustin. Return a favor? Hector was puzzled. Lord Zenos was not only an extremely influential figure, but he also held the highest authority and answered to no one. Who could Lord Zenos owe a favor to among the Harmons? Paul chuckled as he stroked his beard. What a coincidence. I'm also here to return a favor, just like you, Lord Zenos. Huh? Hector widened his eyes, growing even more confused. One was the Viceroy, while the other was a renowned martial arts master. Who exactly could have both influential figures owe them a favor at the same time? Congratulations, Mr. Harmon. With such an outstanding son-in-law, the Harmons are destined for a prosperous future. George gave him a meaningful smile. Son-in-law? It didn't make sense to Hector. Both of his daughters were not yet married, so which son-in-law did he mean? Hector was hit by a sudden realization. Could it be Dustin?